What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the Season 1 Reloaded update came with a bunch of issues, especially early on, many of which have been fixed at this point. But I did want to make this video since I've had a lot of people attacking me because I haven't been making a video about this. And of course, many people jumping to the conclusion that I'm paid off or I'm just trying to cover for them or something. And I just wanted to clarify the situation a little bit here, since you guys don't necessarily see what goes on behind the scenes with my channel. The reason I haven't made this video until today is this channel is designed around breaking down the actual mechanics and gameplay balancing and everything that goes along with that. And after a major update, especially the type of updates that comes with a ridiculous list of weapon balancing changes like the one we saw with Season 1 Reloaded, literally the moment those patch notes go live, I've got my head down working as hard as possible, collecting the data, collecting the clips, creating the graphics, and making the content. And on those days, I don't take a lunch, I don't get to see my wife at all, I don't get to check Twitter, I don't get to check anything. I am literally working as hard as possible to cover those patch notes better than anyone else on YouTube in the most reasonable amount of time as I possibly can. And as a result, I typically don't even get to play the game very much after an update. At this point, on Friday, I still only have 2 total hours of gameplay time since this update went live because my entire day is filled with testing and making content. So as a result, I haven't had any time at all to experience these issues and bring light to these issues until today. And by the time I finally got to them, now most of these issues have already been resolved. So hopefully that just provides a little more context around the situation. My channel is very different from many other YouTube channels out there. And just because I'm not making the exact same content that those people are making, it doesn't mean that I'm ignoring the issues or covering for Activision or Call of Duty or anything. I'm quite simply just too busy making the style of content that people tend to subscribe to my channel for. And that type of content takes far more time and effort than you'll see from the standard video. And now that we've got that covered, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sneak peek into why it takes me so long to get to this stuff. Let's talk about some of the primary issues that I've noticed with the update. Keep in mind, I'm probably even going to be missing some of these because, like I said, I've still only played for 2 hours, so I've only experienced some of these issues. But I also did a bunch of scrolling through Reddit and on Twitter and just trying to find issues that other people are having as well. Like, first off, ranked play was delayed. Initially, it was supposed to be coming on the evening of the Wednesday, and they had to push that back until yesterday, but ranked play is live. I was actually quite surprised to see that they did get ranked play live yesterday. I thought when they announced that delay, we'd be waiting until like next week to play it, but ranked play is now live. Also, Warzone, even though I don't play it, I should point out, Warzone was completely unplayable right after the update, at least from what I heard. And that's obviously really frustrating, especially for those people that have been really looking forward to the update and all the changes that came with it, only to be met with an update that just broke the game entirely and they couldn't play it at all. That has also been fixed, and Raven even issued basically an apology on Twitter and a brief explanation of what exactly went wrong. And based on the updates I was seeing, they had all hands on deck. They worked overnight that night to get things working. So I would say, given the situation they ended up in, they handled it quite well. But it's also obviously very frustrating from the player-based perspective, where this is the first major update we've had in quite a long time, because we had the holiday season where most of the devs appear to be off work. And during that time, I never really expect any updates, but then we finally get the first major update coming back from that, and it just breaks the game entirely. I obviously don't understand all of the complexities of everything that goes into something like this, and I'm sure there are just so many moving parts when it comes to this. But still, this is a major AAA franchise, and it's really not a good look to be releasing the first major update in a long time, only to have that update break the game entirely. Then getting into some more specifics, something I've noticed with several guns, especially with the new TAC Evolver LMG, there's this weird aim down sight snapping issue where it's not a smooth animation as you aim down sight. There's like a little bit of a skip in the animation. And at the time of recording this video, that's still present, and it is frustrating. It is a little bit annoying. It is a minor annoyance. It doesn't really affect the gun that much, but that's definitely something they need to get on top of. Another thing that broke with the updates that, based on my testing, it appears they have now resolved. This is with the Stormender launcher. Now, in the patch notes, they mentioned several buffs to this. However, in the process, they also broke it entirely, and based on my testing when this was broken, it looks like they unintentionally capped the range on the Stormender at 10 meters. So obviously at that point, you couldn't hit any aerial streaks anymore because they're obviously farther than 10 meters away from you, and it effectively made the Stormender useless for a little while. Again, based on my testing, that has now been fixed, and I do plan on covering a video just sharing what exactly changed with the buffs to the Stormender, because there were some notable adjustments there. I'll probably get to that hopefully by the end of the weekend. Another big thing is challenges not tracking properly or they're labeled improperly. Like one of the weekly challenges, for instance, it stated that you needed to use one style of optic, but it wouldn't track if you use that optic. Instead, it was tracking with a different optic. And again, that's obviously frustrating. You're trying to unlock the new gun and you're trying to complete the challenges required to unlock that new gun, only to find that that challenge isn't tracking properly when you're following the description to a T. This is something that has now been resolved as well, so the optic that's stated in the challenge description is the optic you need to use now. And then finally, as far as the major complaints that I've been seeing that popped up with this update, this is just server stability issues. It seems like server stability got way worse after this Season 1 Reloaded update. There's a lot more stuttering, a lot more packet burst, packet loss, really massive ping spikes as well, and I definitely did notice this in my short playtime after this season launched. So yeah, especially on the day of launch for the Season 1 Reloaded update, it was rough and a lot of stuff was broken. And it does really suck to see that, especially after being so patient over the holidays and just eagerly awaiting the next big update that just ended up breaking the game. Thankfully, they have resolved many of those issues. That's not to excuse those issues, just letting you know many of those issues have now been worked out. But now I also wanted to tag on something that I want to call out at this point. I've been very patient with them when it comes to this, but I think it's definitely time to start calling this out. And this is, where's that matchmaking talk that they mentioned they would have with us in the coming weeks after Season 1 launches, which was over a month ago at this point. They said they were going to do this, and they also said it was going to be a part of their ongoing discussions with the community, and yet we haven't heard anything about this since they made that statement. Now, my best guess is over the holidays, they weren't going to be putting something like this together because, like I said earlier, they had taken time off for that. Then after that, I'm guessing they've been just working hard trying to get the Season 1 Reloaded update all together and packaged, even though that didn't turn out super well, at least for the day of launch. So I'm really hoping we end up hearing something about this within the next week or so, and my plan is to make a dedicated video calling this out next week if we don't hear anything about this. Because I think the community has been patient enough when it comes to this. And I do get it, right now everything's just focused on the Season 1 Reloaded update, the new stuff that's coming out with that, and fixing everything that they broke with that. But I'd say if they don't talk about this by the end of next week, then it will definitely start to feel like they've completely forgotten about this, or thought that the community would forget about this. Now, just to be clear, when it comes to this matchmaking talk, I'm still keeping my expectations very low. I highly doubt we're going to be getting a statement that basically just comes out and says, hey, we're removing SBMM in regular public matches or significantly toning it down in regular public matches. But in saying that, I am still very interested in seeing what they provide for us when it comes to this SBMM talk. And with that, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Just a recap on a bunch of the things that I have been putting off because I've been quite simply way too busy to get to any of this stuff. And for me and my channel at least, the type of content I've been making is far more important to get out in a timely fashion rather than making the same video that just about every other YouTuber is making. And with that, this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. First off, what has your experience been like since the launch of Season 1 Reloaded? Have you been experiencing a ton of issues like many in the community have? And also, what do you guys think about the fact that we still haven't seen any matchmaking talk from them, even though they said they'd be talking about it in the coming weeks after Season 1 launches? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.